we're different, and we have rights, and we do things completely different than a lot of people in other countries, and our freedoms are really taken for granted. And so when you're dealing with people, citizens from other countries, they don't understand freedom like we have it. They don't. It's not even in their vocabulary, if you will. So when they are dealing with us, they don't understand where we come from, if you know what I mean, because we have so much freedom to do the things that we do, go to school and buy food and go to the supermarket and drive cars. And in the Middle East, that doesn't happen. I mean, most people don't have a car because they can't afford it. Shopping, you do because it's a necessity, but you don't get to, you don't just get to stop at the supermarket and stuff like that. And same thing in Africa. I was in Kenya and Mombasa and different places in Africa. Well, most people don't even own a car. Either they walk or they ride a bike, but most people just walk everywhere they go. And so they don't know how to take us because we're awfully charismatic, if you will, and we're awfully spoiled because we have all these freedoms that they've never experienced. So it's yes and no. They support us to the extent because they want our help, but they don't support us because they think we're just a little bit crazy. So.
Did you feel the support of the American citizens?
Yeah, always. I never experienced stuff like what happened in Vietnam because I obviously joined after, and I was younger than that. And I was born in 1962, so Vietnam was actually starting when I was born. But yeah, I've never really experienced citizens of our own country looking down or talking poorly of me because I served in the military.
How did America change after the war?
I don't think America changes. I think when you come home from being in a conflict, you change. And you see some pretty horrific stuff. And because of that, you come home different. And you see the world different, and it affects how you live the rest of your life. It's called PTSD. I have PTSD, really bad post-traumatic stress disorder, because of some of the things that I've seen in my life, and it's taken years to overcome and be able to just sleep through the night, because you wake up and you have bad dreams and all of that stuff from those things that you've seen, and I've never, and I'll always say this, I've never done anything that I'm ashamed of. But it changes who you are as a person.
Did the country you serve in change after the war?
You can see that now. Afghanistan and Iraq both have changed dramatically since we started in the early 90s. And then when we went back in 2003, 2004, those countries are completely, dramatically different now than they were. Take Afghanistan, for example. When we first entered Afghanistan, women weren't even allowed to go to school. And now women go to school, they drive cars, and they're free to do have those rights back that they didn't have before. So, yeah, I think if you watched and you paid attention, you would see that their societies have even changed.
What did Americans do to help the war effort?
Well, they supply the warriors. Young men and women join the service every day, and they come from great families, and that's what America does. And then the people back home take care of us, send letters and send stuff in the mail, and just in general to know that the people back home are supporting you while you're gone somewhere else. It encourages encourages you to carry on and to do the mission.
How did the media portray your war?
I think as well as they could have. Sometimes I think there's a bias, and sometimes I don't think the media really understands. Well, I pretty much know the media doesn't really understand what the job is or what the mission is and stuff like that. So for the most part, it's pretty positive. But on the other side, it seems to me they're always trying to find a story when there might not be one. So I think they did okay.
How did the war affect the rest of your life?
I appreciate life. I don't take it for granted, and I don't know. I just think it's important that we spend time with the people we love, because you never know when that'll end.
What was the purpose of the war you served in?
Well, our goal was to free the people that were in that country from a dictator. The first time I went to the Middle East back in 1990 and 91, the Iraqis had invaded the country of Kuwait, and we gave their country back. And later on, we went into Iraq and we deposed the dictator or kicked him out of power to give the citizens their country back, so that they could have freedoms like we have, to live their lives and be educated and strive to be the best they can.
Do you have any friends still from the war?
Yes. There's some guys that served with me late in my career that are still serving. I have a friend that is currently home, but he's only been home a couple months from Afghanistan, and it's his 4th trip. He just completed his 4th tour of duty in Afghanistan. And so, yes. And I have another really good friend that's still on active duty who just came back home from Cambodia.
What life lessons did you learn from the war?
Oh, you got a week? Life lessons. Well, pick your friends wisely. Love your family dearly. Count every day as a blessing. And just know that there's a God in heaven. And at any moment, we could lose all of this that we have in America. We really could. And the life lesson is, and I'll just say it so other kids can hear it, but your generation needs to know that it is the freedoms that we have here is very precarious. And it would not surprise me that by the time your generation gets as old as I am, that you will have lost 50% or half of the freedom that we have fought so hard to keep. And it would not surprise me at all if that was the case. So I think life lesson there is that we got to keep on keeping on in America, and we got to protect our rights, and we got to protect our country, because we have enemies, and they would love nothing more than to take this away from us.
What was the best memory from the time you served?
I don't know, memory, I don't know, just maybe not so much a memory, but the friendships I built with the guys that I served with. People talk about brotherhood and stuff like that. You go into combat with guys, with other Marines and soldiers and stuff, guess my best memory is the guys I served with.
Would you want your kids to experience the same thing?
No, that's why I did what I did. Both my kids are grown up now. They're both married. My son's just getting ready to graduate college. My daughter is married and lives in Caldwell with her husband, who was a soldier. And the whole idea of going and serving and fighting is that you want better for your kids. And I think my kids, because I served, my kids didn't have to.
Did any of your family members also fight in the war?
My nephew, who is a West Point graduate, is still currently on active duty in the Army, and he's been in Iraq and in Afghanistan both. My brother served. He was an Army chaplain, so he served a little bit differently, but he served in both Iraq and Afghanistan as well.
What did your diet consist of?
Meals ready to eat, MREs. They are a wonderful thing. Not. And then whatever, if we were in a place where they had dining facility or a chow hall, we got warm food that way once or twice a day. But when you're forward and doing missions and stuff like that, it's MREs.
Was it hard to adjust life when you got back?
Yes, it's still hard. It's been a number of years, but it changes your life, and it's difficult, especially when you wake up in the middle of the night and you've had a bad dream, and it's hard to adjust to that.
What was the contrast between the weather?
About 100 degrees, and the very first day I was in the Middle East, it was 136 degrees and 85% humidity. The very first day I got there. And we drank a gallon of water every 15 minutes. I'm not kidding. It was bad. I hated it. Every minute of it. It was just too hot.
And would you live it all over again?
Oh, absolutely. I would do it. I would do it 100 times. I would do it 100 times. The relationships you build and the guys you serve with and the idea that you're helping maintain our country, absolutely. I would still give my life to serve my country because it's worth it.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.